Ladies, sisters, daughters of destiny, hear me today. This is not a sermon about lipstick, lashes, or the lotion on your legs. No, this is deeper than your outward beauty. This is a kingdom conversation about presentation, purpose, and power. The question is asked, do men prefer groomed women? And I'm here to tell you, this ain't just about what men prefer. It's about how you show up in the world God assigned you to walk in. It's about being clean, being whole, and being intentional, not just for others, but for yourself and the God who crafted you. Let's be clear, there is beauty in authenticity, but there is favor in intentionality. There is power in a woman who understands that her hygiene is not vanity, it's dignity. It's not about impressing someone else, it's about expressing the excellence God placed in you. You see, attraction, real, lasting attraction, isn't just physical. It's spiritual, it's mental, it's emotional, but yes, presentation matters because how you care for your body is a reflection of how you honor your temple. The Bible says your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit, not a dumping ground, not an afterthought. A temple, and when you walk into your destiny groomed in excellence, mind, body, and soul, you become a magnet not just for men, but for purpose, for respect, for favor. So don't you dare settle for being noticed. You are made to be valued, and value begins with self-respect, with stewardship, with self-love. Yes, some men do appreciate a woman who is well kept, groomed, and clean, but the deeper truth is that your grooming must begin from the inside out. Don't mistake attraction for affection, and don't confuse being desired with being cherished. When you carry yourself with dignity, the right man won't just see your body, he'll see your calling. So sis, fix your crown, cleanse your spirit, care for your temple, and know that the right man will be drawn not just to your perfume, but to your presence. There comes a time in a woman's life when she must come face to face with a truth that has been buried under the noise of culture, the pressure of image, and the fatigue of life. She must stop and ask herself, why am I the way I am? Why do I neglect the mirror that once made me smile? Why do I no longer give time to the temple God gave me? See, there's been a lie whispered to women for generations, that if you take care of yourself, you must be vain. That if you put on that perfume, if you groom your nails, if you take a moment to do your hair or invest in your hygiene, you must be obsessed with appearance. That you must be shallow, self-centered, or even trying to impress someone else. But I came to tear that lie down today, because what the world calls vanity, God calls stewardship. When the Bible says your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit, that is not a metaphor, it's a mission. A charge, a responsibility, the same way you wouldn't leave the church sanctuary dirty or neglected, the same way you wouldn't let weeds grow in the garden of the Lord's house. You are not supposed to let your own temple be treated with disregard. You are not meant to exist in survival mode, scraping together moments of energy for others, while you forget to pour any into yourself. That is not humility. That is not righteousness. That is not holiness. That is exhaustion, and exhaustion is not a spiritual gift. There is something powerful about a woman who wakes up and decides to honor herself, not in pride, but in purpose. When you wake up and choose to groom yourself, not for the attention of a man, not for the approval of others, but because you understand that God saw fit to dwell in you, you take on a mantle of sacred responsibility. Your hygiene, your care, your self-respect, they are not signs of arrogance, they are signs of awareness. A woman who knows who she is in Christ does not neglect her temple, and don't get it twisted. This isn't about makeup or mascara. It's not about high heels or handbags. It's about how you show up in the world. Do you walk in excellence? Do you walk in confidence? Do you take the time to ensure that you are whole, healed, and cared for? Because if you are a temple, then everything you do to maintain that temple is a form of worship. Yes, worship is not only a sound, it is also a standard. When you clean your body, you clean your mind. When you comb your hair, you untangle the thoughts that try to convince you you're not worth the effort. When you take care of yourself, You silence the inner critic that tries to convince you that your value is only in what you produce for others. Let me tell you something. You are not a machine. You are not just a mother, not just a wife, not just a worker. You are a vessel, a divine instrument. You are anointed, and anything anointed must be maintained. Too many women are dying while looking alive, looking put together but falling apart on the inside, because somewhere along the way they learned to care for everyone else but never themselves. They learned that loving others meant leaving no time for their own healing. But let me tell you, real love starts at home. And the first home you ever had was your body. The first house you were given was your flesh. And if you want to love others well, you must first learn to love and care for yourself. Now I know life gets hard, schedules get full, children need you, jobs drain you, stress surrounds you, but when you begin to neglect yourself, you start walking in a broken identity. When you stop tending to your temple, you start living in disrepair. And that disrepair shows up in how you talk, in how you carry yourself, in what you tolerate from others. When you don't feel clean, you don't feel confident. When you don't feel worthy of care, you start accepting carelessness from others. But I came to speak life back into you, to tell you that self-care is not selfish, that taking a shower, brushing your hair, moisturizing your skin, or investing in your hygiene is not a luxury. It's a necessity. It is not a weakness. It is warfare. You fight against depression when you care for your body. You fight against anxiety when you establish routines. You fight against generational neglect when you say, I am worth the effort. There's something divine about water, you know. The Bible speaks of being washed by the Word. The Spirit descends like a dove when Jesus comes up from the water. Cleansing is sacred, and your hygiene is not a side note in your spiritual life. It is a sign of it. When you begin to cleanse your physical body, your spirit begins to respond, because there is something about order in the natural that unlocks order in the supernatural. I'm not telling you that your value is in your looks. No, you are beautiful before you ever put a thing on your face. You are powerful before a single product touches your skin. But what I am telling you is that how you treat yourself teaches the world how to treat you. You don't just groom for men. You don't just groom for attention. You groom because you were fearfully and wonderfully made. You groom because God doesn't do messy work. You groom because the excellence in you demands expression. You were not created to be forgotten. You were not created to be invisible. You were created to reflect the glory of God. And glory is never sloppy. Glory is never neglected. Glory is never put together last minute. Glory is intentional. Glory is radiant. Glory is cared for. So fix your posture, lift your head, comb your hair, wash your face, spray your fragrance, and don't do it in shame. Do it in celebration. Don't do it for attention. Do it because you are aware that your body is not just flesh. It is favor in motion. It is purpose wrapped in skin. And if a man sees you and values how you care for yourself, let that be a confirmation, not a motivation. Let that be evidence, not the reason, because if he can see the light in your self-respect, he may be ready to walk in the light with you. But even if no one else applauds your care, God sees your stewardship. And he rewards those who honor what he has given. Today, make a decision. No more shame about self-care. No more guilt about loving yourself enough to cleanse your temple. No more neglect disguised as humility. You are not selfish for tending to your body. You are sacred. You are worthy. You are his. And when you know that, really know that, you begin to show up differently. Not because you want to be seen, but because you understand that you were never meant to hide. True attraction goes beyond the physical. Men may be drawn to appearance, but true connection requires inner health, wholeness, and spiritual strength. There is a truth that needs to be shouted from the rooftops, whispered into the hearts of women everywhere, and echoed in the ears of those still learning how to see beyond the surface. The truth is this: attraction may start with the eyes, but it only stays because of the soul. The world may train our eyes to chase the external, but it takes a deeper wisdom to know that the most beautiful face cannot cover up a broken spirit, and the most polished appearance cannot sustain a hollow connection. It is no secret that people, yes, especially men, are often drawn first to what they see, and there is nothing wrong with that. God created beauty, God authored form and shape and color. There is glory in physical design. But hear me when I tell you, attraction may ignite interest, but it is character, spirit, and emotional health that anchor love. A man may notice the sway of your hips or the light in your eyes, but if there is no peace in your soul, no strength in your spirit, no substance behind your shine, that interest will fade like a vapor in the wind. What happens when the thrill of beauty wears off? What happens when the makeup is removed, when the hair is tied back, when the lights are off and the cameras are no longer rolling? What happens when the real you walks in the you that wrestles with insecurities, the you that's healing from heartbreak, the you that sometimes doubts her worth? If all he ever saw was your outer frame, he will be unprepared to handle the weight of your inner world. You cannot build a lasting relationship on physical attraction alone. It is like trying to build a house on a sandcastle. It may look perfect from the outside, but the moment the waves come, the moment life gets hard, the moment differences rise, the moment the storms of reality begin to beat against that fragile structure, it will collapse under the weight of what was never addressed. And too many people, too many women are walking around wondering why their connections never last, why the spark fades, why the excitement disappears. Could it be because what drew them was never enough to hold them? You see, when a man is truly ready, when he's done playing games, when he's no longer looking for a thrill, when he's mature enough to lead, to love, and to commit, he begins to look for more than a body. He begins to seek wisdom. He begins to crave peace. He begins to long for a partner who is not just beautiful but whole. He wants to know, can she stand in the fire and not be consumed? Can she encourage me when I'm down? Can she speak life when I'm tired? Does she carry wisdom in her silence and strength in her words? And here's the truth, you cannot fake inner health. You cannot Photoshop your spirit. You cannot filter your emotional life. You either have it or you don't. You are either healing or hiding. And if you want to attract not just a man, but the right man, you must prioritize your wholeness above your appearance. You must do the work behind closed doors that no one sees. The tears you cry, the therapy you attend, the journals you fill, the prayers you whisper when no one is watching. That is where true attraction is cultivated. Because a healed woman glows in a way makeup never could. A woman who has forgiven herself, a woman who has faced her fears, a woman who knows her worth. There's something magnetic about her. She walks into the room with an authority that cannot be mimicked. Her voice has weight, her silence has substance. She doesn't beg to be chosen. She chooses herself first. She doesn't chase love. She attracts it by embodying it. There are some women who have been told that if they just looked a little better, they'd be loved a little more. That if they lost the weight, or wore more makeup, or dressed like her, or moved like her, they'd finally be enough. But let me tell you something. You were never meant to compete for what is already yours by identity. Your beauty is not a performance. Your body is not a bribe. You don't have to bend and twist yourself to be desirable. The right one will see you, really see you, not just for what you look like, but for who you are becoming. So don't let society trick you into thinking that your worth is measured by waistlines or by likes, that your power lies in appearance, that love is reserved for the flawless, because the truth is, the deeper your spirit, the stronger your light. And a man who is walking in purpose will not just be attracted to your looks. He will be drawn to your light. He will be moved by your mind. He will be nourished by your soul. Because when two people connect from the inside out, not the outside in, that connection can weather anything. Physical attraction is a door, but emotional and spiritual connection is the foundation. A man can walk through the door of beauty and still walk out if he finds no peace inside. He can admire your curves and still leave if he cannot connect with your courage. He can enjoy your smile and still disappear if he does not feel safe in your presence. But when he finds joy in your laughter, when he respects the way you think, when he is challenged by your faith, when he is inspired by your discipline, now you've built something deeper. Now you've entered into sacred territory. Now you're walking in divine alignment. So to every woman who has ever questioned her worth because she didn't fit the mold, to every woman who has felt unseen because her beauty is quiet, to every woman who has been passed over by those looking only with shallow eyes, don't you dare shrink, don't you dim your light, don't you change who you are to be more palatable to someone who's only operating on surface level. Because the right one will not be intimidated by your depth. He will be drawn to it, he will cherish it, he will protect it. Take care of your outer appearance, yes. Be beautiful, be bold, express yourself. But don't ever let that be your only offering. Don't invest in your wardrobe more than your wisdom. Don't obsess over your image and ignore your inner world, because beauty may open a door, but it's your soul that will keep someone seated at the table. The truth is, there's nothing more attractive than a woman who is at peace with herself, who loves God and loves herself enough to walk in integrity, who knows when to speak and when to be silent, who listens, who discerns, who uplifts. That is rare, that is precious, that is powerful, and when attraction meets alignment, when physical desire meets spiritual maturity, now we're talking about a love that doesn't just look good, it lasts. There are moments in life when how you present yourself becomes a sermon all on its own. Without speaking a word, you testify to the world what you believe about yourself. You preach through your posture, your presence, your preparation. You declare your identity through how you walk into a room, how you dress your body, how you carry your countenance. You may never step into a pulpit, but your life is always speaking. And let me tell you something. The message you carry is broadcast long before your mouth opens. How you show up tells the world how you see yourself. Whether you walk in bold and prepared, or withdrawn and disheveled, you are saying something. When you care for your hygiene, when you take time with your grooming, when you put thought into your presence, you are not simply putting on a show. You are stepping into your purpose with intentionality. You are signaling to others, I respect what God has given me. I honor the vessel He made. I am not here by accident, and I will not live like I am disposable. It's not about wealth. It's not about luxury. It's not about brand names or expensive treatments. This is not a message about vanity. It is a call to dignity. You don't have to own the best to carry yourself with care. You don't need to wear the most costly outfit to walk in value. You don't have to have a closet full of clothes to understand that what you wear and how you wear it are declarations of self-awareness. When you clean yourself, when you groom with intention, when you pay attention to your personal presentation, what you are really doing is stepping into agreement with God's design. You are saying what God made is worth being seen with honor, because He didn't make you in a rush. He didn't form you haphazardly. He shaped you with detail, with purpose, with design. So how dare you walk through life as though your existence is insignificant? There is something sacred about taking time to prepare yourself, to present yourself with care. In the Bible, when people approached kings, they didn't just stroll in carelessly. They washed, they dressed, they adorned themselves in a way that showed reverence for the moment. And if we show such honor when we approach earthly royalty, how much more should we carry ourselves with intention, knowing that we are children of the King of Kings? Your presence is a ministry. The way you walk, the way you speak, the way you present yourself teaches others how to treat you. If you carry yourself like you don't matter, you give people permission to treat you like an afterthought. But if you walk like you are valuable, if you show up like your presence matters, people will begin to respond accordingly. They may not even understand why, but something about your confidence, your cleanliness, your poise demands respect without you ever having to request it. And let's be honest, life tries to wear you down. Struggles can make you feel invisible. Disappointments can convince you to shrink. Trauma can teach you to disappear in plain sight. But every time you choose to get up and wash your face, every time you stand in front of that mirror and prepare yourself with dignity, you are resisting the voices that told you that you're not enough. You are saying, I may have been overlooked, but I am not unworthy. I may have been through hell, but I will not let hell dictate how I walk through heaven's earth. There is power in presentation. Not because it makes you more valuable, but because it is a reflection of the value you already carry. You don't groom to become worthy. You groom because you already are. You don't clean yourself to impress others. You do it because God gave you one body, one temple, and you refuse to treat it like it's ordinary. And hear me, when you show up looking ready, you often feel more ready. When you present yourself with excellence, your mind starts to follow. You carry yourself differently. You speak with more clarity. You sit up straighter. You start believing the very image you see, because what's outside begins to affirm what you're working on inside. This is especially important in seasons where you feel like nothing is working. In those dark valleys, in the hard places, in the waiting rooms of life, it is easy to let go of how you carry yourself. You may think, what's the point? No one sees me. Nothing's changing. I'm tired. But that is the very moment to dig in and keep showing up. Because presentation is not for the applause. It is for your alignment. It reminds you of who you are when life tries to make you forget. When David was anointed king, he wasn't sitting on a throne. He was dirty in the field, tending sheep. But when the call came, he showed up, and he didn't wait to be dressed in royalty to act like he was chosen. His character had already been shaped in obscurity. His presence carried weight before he ever carried a crown. And that's the same spirit you must carry, even when no one sees, even when no one affirms, even when you're behind the scenes, in the shadows, in the in-between. Show up, be ready, stay excellent, because purpose doesn't announce itself with trumpets. It often arrives disguised in ordinary moments, and when that door opens, when the opportunity comes, when favor finds you, you don't want to be caught unprepared. You want to be dressed in purpose, clothed in discipline, surrounded by peace, and anchored in confidence. Your life is an offering, your body is a temple, your daily preparation is worship, so brush your teeth, comb your hair, clip your nails, iron your clothes, hold your head up. Look in the mirror and tell yourself, I'm not doing this for them. I'm doing this because I'm worth it. I'm doing this because I believe in what's ahead. I'm doing this because I refuse to treat my life like it's accidental. There will always be people who say, it's just appearance, it doesn't matter, but that's only partially true. Yes, your worth is deeper than your look. Yes, your soul is what truly defines you, but we are holistic beings. And how you treat the outside often reveals what you believe about the inside. The two are not separate, they are connected. So today, I invite you to rise into your purpose by how you present yourself. Not for attention, not for validation, but because you recognize that purpose demands preparation, and preparation reveals expectation. You don't get ready for nothing. You get ready because you believe that something is coming. And when it comes, you'll be found ready, not just waiting, but worthy. You are not just anybody. You are not a random soul wandering through life. You were placed here with assignment. You were fashioned with care. And every time you take the time to reflect that, every time you show up with dignity and present yourself with excellence, you honor not only yourself, but the God who made you. So go ahead, present well. Show up like you matter, because you do, and when the world sees you, they'll feel it too. There comes a time in every woman's journey where she has to ask herself, what am I really worth? And not in the way the world asks that question, where worth is measured in the size of your waist, the shape of your body, the texture of your hair, or the label on your clothes. No, this is the kind of worth that has to do with essence. Identity, calling, the deep, eternal value placed on you by the one who made you. Because the truth is, any man can notice your looks. Any man can be drawn to the curve of your body, the sway of your hips, the perfume you wear, the rhythm of your voice. That takes no spiritual discernment. That doesn't require maturity. That doesn't prove love. That's instinct. That's desire. That's fleeting. But the right man, oh, he sees something deeper. He's not just checking for your style. He's looking for your strength. He's not just listening for your laugh. He's tuning into your character. He's not just watching how you move. He's observing how you carry your purpose. Because a man who is in alignment with his own calling will recognize and respect the weight of yours. Too many women are exhausting themselves trying to keep the wrong man's attention, constantly polishing, pleasing, performing, thinking that if they just look a little better, sound a little softer, become a little more what he wants, he'll finally see them. But if he only values what he sees on the surface, he'll never treasure what's inside. And you were not made to be consumed like decoration. You were not made to be admired from a distance and never understood. You were not made to dim your light to stay in someone's shadow. The right man, he won't just see your body, he'll see your brilliance. He'll recognize that beauty is common, but character is rare. He'll understand that outer attraction may spark the fire, but it's inner depth that keeps it burning. He's not intimidated by your intelligence. He's not annoyed by your ambition. He's not insecure about your anointing. He is drawn to it. You see, a man who walks with God is not just looking for someone to share a bed. He's looking for someone to build a life. He's looking for a partner in purpose. A woman who prays as fiercely as she loves. A woman who can discern when he's off course and lovingly call him back. A woman who knows how to cover him spiritually, encourage him emotionally, and walk beside him with vision and clarity. That kind of woman is not found on billboards. She's not chasing applause. She's cultivated in secret, strengthened in silence, refined by trials. She doesn't chase. She doesn't beg. She waits. She prepares. She trusts. You don't need to package yourself like a product to be chosen. The right man is not shopping for pleasure. He's searching for purpose, and he will see in you what others were too shallow, too distracted, or too broken to notice. Because when a man is healed, when he's grown, when he's walked through enough wilderness to know what really matters, he won't settle for the surface. He's not looking to escape into fantasy. He wants to live in truth. And truth is not always glamorous, it's not always easy, but it's real, and he's ready for real. He sees the way you treat people when no one's watching. He sees the consistency in your character, the way you keep your word. The way you honor your values, the way you hold boundaries, the way you carry yourself. Not just when you're being admired, but when you think no one is paying attention. He's not confused by your strength. He's grateful for it because he understands that a real connection isn't about domination. It's about divine partnership. He's not threatened by your independence. He respects your wholeness. Because he knows that when two whole people come together, they don't complete each other. They complement each other. They don't lose themselves in one another. They grow stronger together. The right man will not need you to shrink. He will not need you to quiet your voice, hide your fire, or dull your glow. He'll be the one encouraging your rise, celebrating your wins, and praying over your dreams. He'll see the woman inside you that's more than hair and nails, more than smiles and curves. He'll see the weight of your story, the scars you survived, the tears you wiped, the nights you cried alone, the victories no one applauded. He will see your journey and honor it, because real men, healed men, wise men, they know that beauty fades but purpose stands. They know that style changes but substance anchors. They know that what's on the outside may get attention, but what's on the inside earns commitment. So to the woman reading this who has ever been made to feel that she wasn't enough unless she looked a certain way, Let that lie fall to the ground. You are enough as you are. Yes, grow. Yes, evolve. Yes, take care of yourself. But don't do it for validation. Do it because you already carry value. You are not a project to be fixed. You are a purpose to be discovered. And while you're waiting on the right man to show up, don't waste your time performing for the wrong ones. Don't cheapen your essence trying to fit into boxes you were never meant to occupy. Don't spend your precious energy decorating yourself for someone who only wants your reflection but not your reality. If he cannot see your calling, he cannot carry your heart, because when the right man comes, there will be no confusion. You won't have to audition, you won't have to prove, you won't have to convince. He will recognize, he will respect, he will respond, and more than anything, he will reverence what God has placed in you. Not just your face, not just your figure, but your faith, your fire, your future. So lift your head, woman of worth. Stand in your truth, walk in your light, love your body, but don't make it your identity. Nurture your soul, because that's what lasts. Your scent may turn heads, but your spirit will turn hearts, and the right man, he will know the difference. He'll see the crown even when it's invisible. He'll hear the purpose in your laughter, he'll feel the weight of your wisdom, and he'll cherish it, because the right man values more than your looks. He values your life. You attract what you reflect. Grooming your spirit, mind, and body attracts purpose, honor, and the favor of God and man. Written in a deep, rhythmic, soul-stirring tone inspired by the cadence of T.D. Jakes, this piece is composed as a flowing narrative without subheadings or keyword formatting, suitable for personal reflection, a sermon, or motivational content. You attract what you reflect. You draw into your life what you are inwardly carrying, not just what you're outwardly showing, because the world responds to energy, to presence, to essence. People may be fooled for a moment by appearance, but it is what you radiate from the inside that ultimately determines the connections you create, the opportunities that come your way, and the favor that rests upon your life. When your spirit is groomed, when your mind is renewed, when your body is honored, you begin to reflect a kind of completeness that cannot be faked. You walk differently, you speak differently, you expect differently, and the world begins to rise to meet the level of your preparation. Grooming is more than styling your hair or polishing your shoes. It's about tending to the totality of who you are. It's about deciding each day to walk in excellence, not perfection, but excellence. The kind of excellence that says, I value what God gave me. I respect my assignment. I'm preparing for what I prayed for. Because how you carry yourself tells heaven and earth how ready you are for what's next. Some people wonder why the right doors never open for them, why favor always seems to fall elsewhere. But you cannot attract the right things when you are reflecting the wrong image. You cannot expect purpose to chase you down while you carry chaos in your soul. You cannot expect honor when you walk in dishonor, and you cannot walk in divine favor when you reject divine order. It all starts with what's going on inside. Groom your spirit. Take time in the presence of God. Let His word scrub off the lies the world tried to plant. Let truth rinse out the bitterness that disappointment left behind. Let worship restore your joy. Let prayer untangle your anxiety. There is no substitute for spiritual maintenance. Because your spirit is the seat of your identity. If your spirit is wounded, everything else will suffer. If your spirit is neglected, your body and mind can only pretend to be whole. You cannot wear peace like makeup. You cannot put on purpose like jewelry. You have to carry it from within, and once your spirit is aligned, groom your mind, protect your thoughts, renew your mindset. You cannot step into greatness with a defeated mentality. You cannot expect promotion when you constantly entertain small, toxic thinking. Cleanse your mind from self-doubt. Rinse out the residue of past rejection. Comb through your beliefs and untangle every lie that said you're not enough. You were never called to be average, so why think like someone who was? A groomed mind is a sharp mind. It's a focused mind. It's not distracted by the noise or drawn in by every comparison. It is disciplined, it is trained, it is committed to clarity. It reads, it learns, it challenges assumptions. It seeks wisdom, because how you think determines what you choose, and what you choose determines what you attract. And then, yes, groom your body. Not because your worth is based on it, but because your body is the temple that carries your calling. It's the vessel God entrusted to you. Take care of it not for the approval of others, but as an act of worship. Eat what fuels you, move in ways that strengthen you, dress in a way that represents the dignity you walk in. Your appearance is not everything, but it is something. It's a reflection of the stewardship you have over the visible parts of your life. When you neglect yourself, you are quietly telling your future that you're not expecting it to show up. But when you prepare yourself, spirit, mind, and body, you signal to heaven that you're ready for alignment, you're ready for partnership, you're ready for favor, because favor doesn't just fall on everyone. Favor looks for faithfulness. It looks for readiness. It looks for people who have made themselves available, not just by showing up in church, but by showing up in their lives with intention and care. You attract what you reflect. If you reflect chaos, confusion will find you. If you reflect bitterness, brokenness will follow. If you reflect insecurity, you'll attract those who will exploit it. But if you reflect peace, peace will pursue you. If you reflect joy, joy will rise around you. If you reflect purpose, purpose will come looking for you. And if you reflect honor, honor will meet you in unexpected places. Even people who don't understand you will respect you when you walk in truth. Even environments that were not designed for your growth will begin to shift when you enter with authenticity and clarity, because energy doesn't lie, spirit doesn't lie, what you carry cannot be hidden. And when what you carry is groomed and aligned, it announces itself before you even speak. Some of the most powerful shifts in your life will not come from striving. They will come from aligning, not from chasing, but from becoming. Because when you become the kind of person who is ready for what you want starts showing up without you even having to knock. You become a magnet for the right things, the right people, the right timing, the right opportunities. This is not about manipulation. This is about transformation. It's not about image. It's about identity. God cannot bless who you pretend to be, but He will crown who you prepare to be. You cannot attract a king while carrying yourself like a beggar. You cannot draw in divine destiny while living in fear of your own reflection. You must rise to the level of your purpose, not in arrogance, but in awareness. Not in pride, but in power, not in comparison, but in clarity. Every time you choose to tend to your inner life, you are choosing to attract divine favor. Every time you renew your mind, you invite clarity to replace confusion. Every time you treat your body with dignity, you walk in agreement with the truth that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. So let the world see the glow that comes from peace. Let them witness the calm that comes from spiritual grounding. Let them encounter the grace that flows from self-respect. Let them feel the stability that comes from a well-tended soul. You won't have to chase anyone. You won't have to fight for what's already yours. You won't have to perform for people who were never meant to stay, because what you reflect will start attracting what's been waiting to find you. You attract what you reflect, so reflect wholeness, reflect honor. Reflect excellence, reflect hope, reflect purpose and favor. True favor, divine favor, undeniable favor will follow. Empowerment starts from within. Self-respect and intentional hygiene are foundational to how others perceive and treat you. Crafted in a soul-stirring, reflective tone similar to a sermon or motivational teaching, this flows naturally without subheadings or keyword formatting. Empowerment is not a dress you put on. It's not a tone you practice or a posture you imitate. Empowerment is not just a loud voice or a strong opinion. It is not the image you present, nor the status you chase. Empowerment, real, lasting, unshakable empowerment, starts from within. It begins with how you see yourself when no one's watching. It grows from the quiet convictions you carry when you're alone in your room and no one's there to affirm you. It flows from the decisions you make in private long before the public ever applauds or critiques. Because until you believe in your own value, no one else can be expected to treat you with the honor you were created to receive. You teach the world how to treat you, not with your words alone, but with your habits, with your standards, with how you carry yourself. If you carry yourself like you are sacred, people will think twice before they handle you casually. If you walk into a room with clarity and composure, people will either rise to respect you or quietly remove themselves because they know they can't approach you the way they would someone who doesn't know their worth. But let's talk truth for a moment. Self-respect is not something you inherit. It's something you build. It's something you protect. It's something you groom. Like a garden, it must be watered daily. Like a home, it must be maintained with care. You don't get empowered once and for all. You choose empowerment again and again, especially on the days you feel the most insecure, the most overlooked, the most broken. And one of the most overlooked expressions of that inner power is your outward discipline. Your self-care, your hygiene, your routine, that might sound shallow to some, but the body is the visible vessel of the invisible you, and how you care for what you've been given reveals what you believe about your worth. It doesn't mean expensive clothes. It doesn't mean perfection, but it does mean intentionality. When you clean your space, when you wash your face, when you nourish your body, when you groom yourself, not for others but for your own dignity, you are preaching a silent sermon to your own soul. I am worth the time. I am worth the care. I am not neglected. I am valuable. And when you live from that belief, everything around you begins to shift because people notice. They don't just notice how you look. They notice the energy you bring. They notice how your eyes shine when you walk in the room. They notice how you speak to yourself, how you carry your body, how you set your boundaries, how you enforce your peace. You're not yelling, "Respect me," you're embodying it. And that kind of presence doesn't demand honor, it attracts it. People are wired to respond to confidence, to excellence, to intention, and while no amount of self-care can make someone else be decent, it does set a standard. It does signal that you won't accept less than what you're worth. You're not waiting to be chosen to start acting chosen. You're not waiting for someone else to affirm you before you affirm yourself. You are walking in the knowledge that you were created on purpose, for a purpose, and you are preparing your body, your mind, and your soul to carry that assignment with integrity. And yes, hygiene is part of that. Why? Because how you tend to yourself matters, because discipline in the small things overflows into bigger things. When you're faithful in your routines, when you show up for yourself daily, you build a foundation that can carry you through storm. You build trust with yourself, and that trust becomes resilience. That resilience becomes confidence, and that confidence becomes empowerment. When you neglect yourself, when you rush through your days, when you stop taking time for basic care, not because life is hard, but because you stopped believing your worth, that carrot begins to erode something inside of you. It's not just your body that suffers, it's your belief in yourself, it's your readiness to be seen, it's your openness to opportunity, because how you feel about yourself impacts how you show up, and how you show up impacts how others receive you. You see, people respond to energy long before they understand the details of your story. They may not know your name, your background, or your journey, but they will sense whether you respect yourself, whether you love yourself, whether you're walking in your own power or waiting for someone to hand it to you. Empowerment starts long before the platform, long before the microphone, long before the title or the applause. Empowerment starts in your reflection. It starts in the mirror when you decide to speak life over yourself. It starts when you choose not to abandon yourself, especially on the hard days. It starts when you choose to keep showing up for yourself even when no one else is clapping. It's in those early mornings when you make your bed, take a deep breath, brush your hair, and whisper, "I am still here. I am still standing. I still matter." It's in those ordinary acts of care that extraordinary power is cultivated. Because the empowered woman isn't the loudest in the room. She's the one who knows her worth so deeply that she doesn't need to convince anyone else of it. She honors herself quietly. She protects her peace. She doesn't seek approval. She reflects alignment, and that alignment becomes influence. She may not have it all together, but what she has, she tends to. She may not be perfect, but she is present. She may not be where she wants to be, but she's walking with intention. And that intention is magnetic. When you honor yourself, others take notice. When you treat yourself with dignity, others are forced to confront the level at which they engage you. You don't have to demand respect when you live it. You don't have to beg for attention when your life speaks louder than your words. So yes, fix your crown, clean your space, wash your face, take care of your body, not for vanity, not for performance, but because you are a vessel of greatness, because you carry a light that deserves to shine, because you are the temple, and the temple deserves reverence. Empowerment doesn't happen in a single moment. It's built over time. It is layered into the fabric of your daily life. It's in the care you give yourself when no one else is giving. It's in the standards you maintain when others try to lower them. It's in the boundaries you hold when people push. It's in the way you nurture your soul while honoring your body and keeping your mind focused on what matters. So wherever you are on your journey, know this: you are not too far gone. You are not too late to start over. You are not too broken to be powerful. Begin today, begin now, with one act of self-respect, one choice of intentional care, one moment of alignment. Because when you treat yourself like someone who matters, others will learn to do the same. Empowerment starts from within. Let it begin with you. Let us bring it all home. This conversation has not been about vanity. It's been about value. It's not about pleasing others. It's about honoring yourself. The world may try to tell you that you need to look a certain way, talk a certain way, live a certain way to be noticed, to be loved, to be chosen. But the truth is, the deepest kind of attraction, the kind that lasts, the kind that builds legacy, the kind that invites favor, is born from alignment, from wholeness, from integrity. You are not defined by trends. You are not measured by the fleeting standards of society. You are the reflection of something divine, and how you treat yourself is the evidence of what you believe about that truth. Groom your spirit because peace is magnetic. Groom your mind because clarity is powerful. Groom your body because dignity deserves expression. And above all, understand that empowerment starts from within. When you rise in the morning and choose to see yourself through the eyes of worth, you're not just changing your day. You're changing your future. You're rewriting the way the world engages with you because you're no longer waiting for validation. You've become the standard. So walk like you're chosen, speak like you're whole, care for yourself like someone who carries purpose. Because you do, and remember, you don't attract what you want. You attract what you reflect. Let your reflection be strength, let it be honor, let it be love, let it be light, and the right people, the right opportunities, and the right doors will recognize that light. And responses